What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of the Triple Threat Talk podcast. I'm your host, Connor Ryan. We're back, another episode, another Sunday for you all. I hope you all had an incredible weekend. Hope you all had an incredible week, and I hope you all have an incredible week moving forward. So as per usual, we're going to go through the news. We're going to go through the major games that I saw from the past week, some of the major headlines, major performances, everything like that. And if anything else pops in my head, I will be sure to talk about it. But yeah, very fun week of basketball for everyone, especially for me, especially with the Celtics going 4-0, all in really solid games. And we got some injury news to talk about. We got some sports media things to talk about. So, let's get right into it. If you want to stay up to date with the content that I'm putting out, please follow me on my socials. Instagram at talkintriple, X/Twitter at talkintriple, and then on TikTok at Triple Threat Talk 0. All the same logo, all the same orange with the white text logo that you'll see. But yeah, I'd really appreciate if you guys gave me a follow over there or just on my other platforms. If you see me at all looking in this general vicinity area, the Nuggets and the Thunder are playing right now, and the Nuggets are winning by 4, which I know isn't much, but it's a margin. It is indeed a margin. So I just wanted to kind of just clear the air. Just a quick little heads up. Jokic has 12 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And SGA has 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. So advantage Jokic right now. Sorry, 14 points. My bad. But yeah, let's get right into the news. Okay, so I feel like a lot of the stuff within Celtics Nation, or a lot of the conversation about within the Celtics fan base, is, does Jayson Tatum garner enough respect from people to really be considered as one of the true best players in the league? And the answer is yes, he does. He does from previous players, and he does from current players. He has Kevin Durant's respect, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Jokic, a bunch of coaches, and just overall, a bunch of players who, if you look at and you say, this person gave almost their blessing, you could say, for a player, then you would kind of look at it and say, oh, maybe we all need to look at this player a little bit differently. Which I think needs to be said about anybody. I think there's the league is so talented nowadays. There are role players who would be stars 20 years ago. And a lot of it is because of the technical aspect. A lot of it is because of just the physical aspect. But it is just the skill has gotten so much higher in the NBA than ever before. And I feel like there are very few people who truly cover the NBA for a living, or not so much for a living, but mass media people who help cover the NBA. And it almost sounds flawed. You would hear them talk and you're like, oh, so they don't enjoy what they talk about, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It just seems very false narratives, almost. There's a lot of, it's a lot of people talking about something that almost seems like they don't care about talking about. I just think with the way that the media has transformed the product, or not so much transformed the product, but has transformed the way that we view a product, it has really led to a lot of negative connotations within the program, or within just however it is being viewed. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is a lot of just what sells on NBA Twitter and NBA media, whatever it may be. Negativity sells. I covered that in last episode. Negativity sells. And it is really unfortunate. Colin Cowherd has gone, not viral, but has brought the attention, or has garnered the attention of Celtics fans over the last week because of his opinions on Jayson Tatum. He said in basically a little, not so much a hit piece, but basically in a conversation about Tatum, and I think it was in response to the White and Pritchard 40-point game. He basically was like, when I look at these players, I close my eyes. When I see Magic, I see the smile. When I see Jordan, I see the cocky grin. When I see LeBron, I see a pregame. I see chalk. When I see Tatum, I see nothing. And I'm like, all right, cool. Okay. So there's the positives and the negatives of this conversation. The negatives is you think Jayson Tatum is bad, when in reality he isn't. He's very good. He's one of the best basketball players on the planet. And then there's the other side where you can look at it and say, well, I hope he doesn't have the I hope he doesn't have the moments that those three guys have, because one of them is just turned 27. By the way, happy birthday, JT. And the other three are first ballot Hall of Famers. So in a way, we are telling the world that Jayson Tatum is the face of the league without telling the world that he's the face of the league. Like, why are we playing this like almost beat around the bush kind of game, which I don't really care about? I think people are allowed to have opinions, and I think people are allowed to have wrong opinions, and that's okay. Still leads to conversation, still leads to the simplicity of loving a player or something, or at least respecting a player. Now, do I think Jayson Tatum is one of the greatest players of all time already? No. Is he a very skilled, highly athletic, incredibly talented player? Absolutely. I just think it's like putting somebody in those conversations right now. It's like, it's a bit unfair. Just because, like, the guy is 27, he doesn't need to be compared to 3 of the top 10 greatest players of all time, in my opinion. I probably have Magic 5 or 6. And then I have Jordan and LeBron 1 and 2. Depends on the day. But it's just like, I don't know what needs to happen to where we can have a positive sports media show and just bring sports to people in the most positive manner possible. Not extremely like most positive, but it's like just like giving fans the analysis of a game and just being fair with it, kind of thing. So at least that's how I'm kind of looking at it. I don't really care what Colin Cowherd thinks. Colin Cowherd thought Ben Simmons was the next LeBron. Like, no, he's not. I just think with a lot of these sports media heads, you just get into this aspect of like, hey, I'm going to pull something out of my ass and let you guys like just run with it. Clips, catch this and go. And I feel like that's just what the focus is nowadays with a lot of sports media. Is it isn't just like, hey, what do you think of this? It's, nope, I got to say this. I don't care if I'm wrong, but people got to know. People got to know, sort of thing. And it's just with that, it's like, you can say Jayson Tatum isn't that good, but you're just like wrong at that point, you know? So, I don't know. But it's just like he's just trying to beat a horse that, like, he's trying to beat a dead horse. Celtics fans do not, or they're actually, hold on. There are a collection of Celtics fans that do care about reputation, when in reality, we shouldn't care about reputation until afterwards. I am very much the proponent of like, hey, I love Steph. I'm not putting him in my top 10 or my top 5, or I'm not going to put him as my greatest point guard of all time until he retires, kind of thing. I know that's like a weird thing to approach it with, because I know LeBron is in one of my, I know LeBron is up there towards the top of my greatest players of all time, but that's just because like LeBron has truly exceeded the point of, hey, like this is the guy, kind of thing. Like 50,000 points, 4 championships, all the MVPs, whatever it may be. I think it's fair to compare Steph, but I just am not ready to do it yet because I just need to see everything with Magic and need to see everything with Steph. But it's just like, why are we trying to compare somebody who is 27 to somebody who is 30, who's going to be 40, or who is 40 and is going to retire soon, and trying to compare legacies? It's like, yeah, he's going to, like, Jayson Tatum has been a top 5 player for the last 3 years, and he's like now like he's in the prime of like, all right, he's getting the steam and the traction that he needs. If he's getting the amount of hate that he's getting, it's like almost a good thing. Like Colin Cowherd is the Skip Bayless for Jayson Tatum, and that's fine. I'll gladly listen to Colin Cowherd over Skip Bayless. But speaking of Skip Bayless, I know he and Stephen A. Smith are doing a show together, which, why, I don't know. But anyway, And then the other piece of NBA media news: Charles Barkley and Kendrick Perkins basically getting in a fight. For those of you that don't know, inside the NBA, TNT Sports, Turner Network Television, their pregame show with Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. That is going to ESPN next year. They bought it, or they made a trade with Turner Sports for like Big 12 football games and Big 12 basketball games, which, sure, okay. But in reality, it's just, I think it's good that they're staying alive. I think it's good that they're staying around. It keeps the basketball community interested. It does. Are they good? No. Kenny the Jets, I think Ernie and Kenny are the best out of the four. Shaq just wants to push his agendas, and Chuck just wants to be funny, which is somebody who's looking for basketball information that isn't really that great, but it is what it is, kind of thing. In regards to it, I just think it's a dumb situation. It's basically Kendrick Perkins talking about, it's Charles Barkley calling out Kendrick Perkins for basically talking about how good the Lakers are ever since they've gotten Luka, and how they've always been one of the best teams in the league when they haven't really. They've been a middle of the pack team, and now they're emerging as a top threat in the West. And I think a lot of that just is coming from this aspect of, wow, OKC's on a 16-5 run. Didn't realize that. And I think a lot of it is just coming from the aspect of LeBron James' name sells. ESPN is trying to sell. It's like the main thing that they're trying to do right now. It isn't trying to state who is the best player in the world right now. It's just obviously that's part of it, but it's not the entirety of it. And so it's a dumb situation. I thought Kenan Thompson was really funny on SNL when he was imitating Kendrick Perkins, and shout out Kendrick Perkins for getting so mainstream that he's getting imitated on SNL. But it's a dumb situation. They'll hash it out over something. They'll probably have a dinner, and then they'll be and then Chuck will talk about how much better he was in high school or in the pros compared to Kendrick Perkins, and Kendrick Perkins would be like, man, I was an All-American out of high school, out of Texas, man. Come on, shout out San Antonio. Them women pretty. Anyway, and then last bit of news, not last bit, but just injury news. Got a little bit of a longer one and then three kind of smaller ones. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL and is out for the year with the Mavericks. No, it's tough. It really is tough. If you were to go to a Mavericks fan and say, hi, I'm from the future. I'm from a year ahead in the future. I know you just lost in the NBA Finals, but the worst is yet to come. And say, you're going to get rid of Luka. You're going to lose Kyrie. You're going to basically not have a franchise. You're going to lose Kyrie to injury. You're going to bring in Klay Thompson, which is great, but you're going to trade away Luka for Anthony Davis, and you only get one first-round pick in return. I think they would laugh at me, and they say, yeah, okay, that's funny. And then they walk away, and then they'd find out a year later, wow, that guy was right. No, it sucks. Kyrie Irving is one of the most skilled players in NBA history, greatest ball handler in NBA history, pause. But it's just seeing a player get hurt, especially the caliber of Kyrie, it sucks. It really does. And to see the state in which the Mavericks are currently in also sucks. Losing Luka, bringing in AD, which if you bring in AD, what you're trying to do, I guess. I think he's obviously an incredibly talented player. Is he worth Luka Doncic? I don't know, but it really is just the one thing led to another, which led to another, which led to another, and the dominoes just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It was Luka getting injured, and then the Mavericks, who were in the top three, fall down towards the end, and then Nico Harrison basically says, all right, I'm going to make a big change. I'm getting bored of this whole Luka guy, and then ships him out to LA, then gives LA another star, and then basically ships away Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin, ships away, and then Daniel Gafford gets injured, Derek Lively gets injured, AD gets injured in his first game and is out for a couple weeks, and then Kyrie Irving gets injured, and you're basically shutting AD down for the rest of the year. And you're also not going to have Kyrie for probably about the first couple months of next season. This whole thing, it's just brutal. Especially for the Mavericks, who are a contending team, who are projected to be, I had them projected wise, I had them in the second tier. I thought they were going to go to the conference finals. I thought it was going to be them versus the Thunder in the conference finals, repeat of last year's matchup in terms of the semis. But, doesn't look like it's good. Excuse me. Oh my God. Doesn't look like it's going to be that. I think it's actually going to end up being this matchup right here. I know I'm pointing at the edge of my screen, but it's just me pointing at my phone. It's the Nuggets Thunder matchup. Quick little score update from that. The Thunder up 40-38. Denver called a timeout with 8:16 remaining in the second quarter. And then a couple other injury stuff. Jaren Jackson Jr. is week to week with an ankle injury. That sucks, especially for the Grizzlies, who aren't playing the best basketball right now. And if they want to make a contender run, they need to figure it out. Domantas Sabonis hamstring strain, and will be reevaluated in a week. Sucks, but I don't really think the Kings are going to do that much. I'm not exactly sure where they're at in the standings. I'm checking right now. Western Conference. They're 9th right now, so they'd be a play-in team. But the crazy thing is they also could go on like a 5-game winning streak and they'd be in like the top 6. So I don't know. But Grizzlies are 4th and they're like continuing to fall down even further. I wouldn't be shocked. They're 3-7 in their last 10, which is the worst out of anybody. It's tied for second worst in the West and not worst overall because you got the Sixers and the Hornets. So that's funny. But yeah, I just think those are two injuries that really hurts. And then Jalen Suggs is out indefinitely for the Magic. If this was earlier in the season, I would say that really sucks for the Magic. The Magic have really just fallen off the cliff as of late. They've lost 5 out of their last 6. If you want to extend it to 8 games, it's 6 out of their last 8. They haven't really been looking good. And then they're in the cusp of a 4-game road trip or 5-game road trip. They won the first one last night, but they play the Rockets, the Pelicans, the Timberwolves, and the Cavs basically all in this next week span, which isn't great. And then they get some time off and then they play at home against the Rockets. But one of their great young players for the Magic, just really tough, especially with it just hasn't really seemed like Paolo and Franz are able to kind of figure it out, especially how it was before either one of them got hurt. So I think they'll be fine. It's just it takes some time. But it's just they have one of the best defenses in the league, and they have the best defense in terms of points per game in the league, but they have a negative net differential in terms of points because they give up about 106 a game, which is first by only 0.4, but then it's Thunder at 106.6 and then the Celtics at 108.2. And then points-wise, they're last by half a point to the Nets. So, yeah, it's just not ideal is how I would put it. But now, let's get into the best part, the games. We're going to talk about the games. First game up from last Sunday, the Boston Celtics and the Denver Nuggets faced off against one another. I went to the matchup last season in Boston. One of the best games of the year. And this was the matchup I think everybody was hoping the finals would be last season, because it just seemed like this juggernaut team with the Celtics versus the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic going head to head with one another for a 7-game series. It just looked like it was going to be the best outcome, and we got it. We didn't get it last year because the Nuggets lost to the Timberwolves. But I mean, a Nuggets Celtics game always it never disappoints. And another example right here. Celtics win though 110-103 over the Nuggets. Jaylen Brown led the way, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Al Horford, week he just had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Quite 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and Jayson Tatum 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Jayson Tatum did not have the best shooting night in this game, but it didn't matter. A lot of the scheme, and I think I don't like to showcase that I watch basketball and I know some basketball. When it comes, and this was if you ask anybody that I know, and I was saying the exact same thing during the Mavericks series last year, it is a 5-person game. I do not care if Luka goes off for 30 every night, and same with Kyrie. It matters about the other players. Okay? If the other players aren't hitting their shots, then the Celtics were going to win in 5. What happened? The Celtics won in 5 because Luka had a really good series. Kyrie didn't, and neither did many of the other players for the Mavericks. And I was saying the same thing. I was like, you can let Jokic go crazy, but in this game, Jokic 20 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals. Jamal Murray 26.6 rebounds, 7 assists, and Christian Brown 24.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 1 block. They were without Aaron Gordon this game. Jamal Murray had a crazy game last season in Boston against the Celtics. He shot like 80% from the field, scored 40 points. It was absurd. And then Jokic is going to be Jokic. You have to let Jokic be Jokic, and you just can't let Jamal Murray have this outburst of scoring that's like a 30 ball with ease. Like, it just seemed like he wasn't as precise with his shots, like especially in the first half. In the second half, he woke up, and if we got that performance from him for the entirety of the game, then I think it would have been a little bit different. But we didn't, thankfully, and it worked out. Christian Brown played a really good game, but the Celtics is just, with the Celtics, it's a lot of people watch the Celtics and just think, well, there's only one way they can really beat you, and that's with the 3-ball, when in reality that isn't true. The Nuggets only made 2 less threes than us. They made more field goals than us. A lot of it was, and they also forced more turnovers than us. The Celtics had 14 turnovers compared to the Nuggets 11. A lot of it was just attacking, getting to the hoop, getting to the basket, getting fouls, drawing fouls, because the Celtics won the free throw battle. Denver shot 9 of 13. Celtics shot 22 of 27. If they were even on free throws, then the Nuggets win this one, basically. The Celtics just got to the hoop. They got to the line. They converted at the line, big time. And they walk out with a win. Now, do I think this matchup happens in the finals again this year? No. Is it my second most likely matchup? Yes, it is. Because the first one is the Thunder Celtics. I just think the Thunder are too good. But I just think the matchup between the Celtics and the Nuggets is one that should have happened. It just didn't. And as much as that sucks, it's okay. Because I think we'll see it at some point. I think we will. When? I don't know. But I think at some point it will happen. By the way, the Thunder are up 8 right now against the Nuggets. But I mean, just like watching, like, this Nuggets team is very good. And it stems because of Jokic. Is he a perfect defender? No. But he's so good on offense, you can't they just become such a better team with him. But the Celtics ultimately sweep the season series, which is fantastic. I'm more than happy to sweep the Nuggets in the season series. But no, I think we're getting to the point in the season where we're seeing the differentiation between, all right, you are a title team, you are a playoff team. And we're seeing it for sure. I think there's 3 teams in that tier of true contender, and that is the Celtics, Cavs, and the Thunder. But then I think the next tier down of really if things go their way, we wouldn't be shocked. I think there are 2 teams in that tier, and it's the Nuggets and the Lakers. So definitely not the Knicks, I can tell you that. But yeah, I mean, overall it was a very good game. Very happy the Celtics won. And I mean, I think the Celtics are finding their stride. They really are. Do play tomorrow night? Damn. And then they play Wednesday against the Thunder. But it's like the Celtics have found their stride. They've won their last 4. They lost 2 straight last week against Detroit and Cleveland. But then before that, I mean, they won 5 in a row. Let me double check that, actually. Before they lost the back-to-back. They won 6 in a row, lose 2 in a row, and now they've won 4 straight in their homestand. So yeah, they're 4-1 in their homestand so far, and they could easily end up going 6-1 if they win out, which would be very nice. The other game that I watched on Sunday was the Thunder versus the Spurs. The Thunder continue to impress me as a team more and more. A lot of my questions for them at the beginning of the year was their offense, and it seems like that they have found it, which is fantastic. But for them in this contest, Jalen Williams led the way, J-Dub, with 41 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. SGA, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. And Isaiah Hartenstein, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. They are the best team in the West. Defensively, they are. Offensively, they have all the pieces that they need. You have your two really good guard slash forward superstars, or at least one superstar, and then soon to be like all-star with a all-star slash superstar counterpart in Jalen Williams. And then you have two incredibly talented, tall big men in Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein. And then you have 3-point shooting with really good defense all around you. System-wise, I know people want the Cavs versus Thunder finals. My counter to that is they're the exact same team. And what do I mean by that? Darius Garland, Jalen Williams are having career years. They both were all-stars. Chet Holmgren would have been an all-star if it wasn't for injuries. He and Evan Mobley are going to be contenders for best big man in the world in a couple of seasons when Jokic finally digresses and also Wemby is at the top and everything like that. Jared Allen and Isaiah Hartenstein have offensive flashes, but they're primarily defensive guys. And then you have players like, for the Thunder, it's Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, the other Jalen Williams, and then for the Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and then for the Cavs, it's like DeAndre Hunter, it's Sam Merrill, it's Max Strus, like Ty Jerome. It's a bunch of two very balanced teams led by two guards, and then their next two guys are big men, big centers. And so, as much as I think their play styles would match up very similarly, I just don't want to see like two of the same thing go up against each other. I think any of those top three teams I think is the best matchup, but it's just like I'd rather see the Celtics just because I'm a Celtics fan. And I know that's not really me being biased, but I don't really care. Thunder are playing great. Their offense has really picked it up as of late. They take care of the ball, they move the ball, they shoot well, they score at a high rate, but their killer, their kryptonite for most teams is their defense. Incredibly stout in terms of creating steals, creating offense, holding you to low point totals, holding you to poor shooting percentages. I mean, we saw the second half against the Celtics in January, and it was two different games. If you saw the first half of the Celtics game, you would say, "Oh, they won." If you saw the second half of the Celtics game, you would have been like, "The Monstars happened" or something. Like, did the Celtics like come to play, kind of thing? Like, anyway, but yeah. But for this one, I mean, it's just like it was close. It was like the Spurs had the lead, and then it just became. And then the floodgates just opened. The Thunder went on two massive runs to both close out the half and into the third quarter, and also in the middle of the fourth, they went on an 18-6 run to really just put the game out of reach. It was 22-point lead at the end of towards the end of the fourth quarter. Spurs cut it down a little bit, obviously, to make it only a 14-point loss. But it is clear the presence of Wemby not being there is felt. And it wasn't like the Spurs had a bad offensive game. They shot 56% from the field. They shot 42% from three on 43 attempts. It was just the Thunder had a better offense. Becoming more of that modern offense. They're taking more threes. They took 44 threes compared to the 43 from the Spurs. Both of them are adapting for sure. But it was just the fact that the Thunder turned it over 7 times compared to 12. They got to the line more than the Spurs did. They made more shots than the Spurs did. Just every domino is falling into place that is showing the Thunder are going to be the team out of the West. Now, does that make sense? Absolutely. I think it's like I do think it's true that the Thunder are going to be the team coming out of the West. For the Spurs in this one, Stephon Castle, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Jeremy Sohan, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And De'Aaron Fox, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Victor Wembanyama is in this game. Spurs win it, in my opinion. It's games like this in which De'Aaron Fox has performances, and it questions my trust in him as a true number one, which I don't think he's trying to do when Wemby's on the court. I think he is trying to become the number 2 because he wants Stephon Castle to develop. He wants Wemby to develop. He wants all this young talent to get to the point that they should be at. But it's when you get the ball in his hands, when he's the last one out there, when you need a shot, he isn't really the most trustworthy. He didn't shoot great in this game, and he is a very good support player. I do think De'Aaron Fox is a very talented player. I think he's one of the better point guards in the West, but I don't know if I really trust him that much to be the generator of offense for my team. If I did, I don't think I would go to him as much as I would go to Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, SGA, even a Trae Young in certain moments, because I think Trae Young has much better playmaking ability. Tyrese Halliburton, kind of the same thing. So De'Aaron Fox, while he is incredibly talented and deserves a lot of recognition, he's stuck in this limbo of he could be the guy, or he could also possibly be just a guy. This is my thoughts. But a needed win for the Thunder. I mean, not needed, but because they're 51 and something. 52 and 11, my bad. Good win for them. On Monday, the 3rd, the Hawks faced off against the Grizzlies in a very tightly contested contest. The Hawks win this 132-130 over Memphis. Zachary Risachet, 27 points, 1 rebound, 4 steals, and 1 block. Sorry, I'm just double checking something. Yep, 4 steals, 1 block. And Caris LeVert, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, with the game winner as well, game-winning layup. And then Onyeka Okongwu, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. I know I just said what I said about De'Aaron Fox and Trae Young and how I'd much rather have Trae Young. This is the exact example of why I would rather have Trae Young. Now, sure, Memphis didn't have Ja in this one. They lost Jaren Jackson very early due to the hamstring strain that I mentioned earlier in the episode. Sorry. But when you have a team like the Hawks, who are incredibly talented, an incredibly talented team. My thing is, when you have a team with Zachary Risachet, Caris LeVert, Onyeka Okongwu, Dyson Daniels, when they're fully healthy, they'll have Georges Niang, they'll have Jalen Johnson. They had DeAndre Hunter and then traded him away to Cleveland. When you have players like of this caliber, in which they can provide this offense, they can provide substantial value for you as a team, you got to go to them. And Trae Young there's no one better than Trae Young, in my opinion, than truly seeing what makes his teammates so good and trusting them. I think that's why he's such a valued playmaker. I think that's what makes him such a valued asset. In the modern sense of the NBA, he is able to, like in this game exactly, shot 29% from the field, 5 of 17 shooting, 12 points. He had 15 assists, which is really good. And he helped Zachary Risachet get double-digit points, Clint Capella 6 points, Caris LeVert 4, Onyeka Okongwu 4, Garrison Matthews, Dominic Barlow, and Dyson Daniels, he all provided a bucket 4. So when you have a player who is able to spread the love like that and know, hey, this isn't my night, I'm going to trust the other guys, it's great. Now, if Atlanta really wants to be really good again, they need a Ace Bailey. They need like a true 1-1 scorer. I think Jalen Johnson plays a great utility man for them. I think he's incredible at like that balance role of when you look at it, you kind of are able to say like, okay, they got that balance. He's got that shooting ability. He's got the driving ability. He's got the defense. He's got the length. He got the size. Okay. You got you got a pure point guard. You got a great 2-man as a defender. You have Okongwu, who's a very good, talented young player. If you're able to get like a 4 or another 3, and then maybe put Jalen Johnson at the 4, a 3 that you're able to truly trust as your scorer, then that's where the Hawks are really able to take the next step. For the Grizzlies, just a tough loss. I mean, losing the alliteration, Jaren Jackson Jr., losing the alliteration 2 minutes into the game doesn't help. But Desmond Bane, really big performance, 35, 10, and 10. Luke Kennard, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. And Jalen Wells, who is in a 2-horse race with Stephon Castle for Rookie of the Year. I think Castle edges him. Pause. But 12 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. I think the Hawks are going to be really good in a year or two. I think they are. I think, unfortunately, they don't have the best draft capital, in my opinion. They have some. Actually, they get 2 picks. They get Sacramento's from the Herder trade. But if Sacramento continues to slide, which I think they kind of want to, if they slide, then it will go back to Sacramento. but they will for sure get they will for sure get LA's pick because of the Anthony Davis trade and then the DeJounte Murray trade. But I mean, yeah. I mean I'm a fan of the Hawks. I think they're a solid team. Are they the best team in the East? No. But I think they're very good. They always play the Celtics tough. And then for the Grizzlies, they need to get healthy. Like, you win that game if you have your two best players. It's as simple as that. And they didn't have their two best players. What are you going to do? Matchup from Tuesday the 4th, the Golden State Warriors traveled to the great city of New York for a very tightly contested matchup that resulted in the Warriors winning 114-102 over the Knicks. Steph Curry led the way, 28.7 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals. Brandon Podziemski, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Jimmy Butler, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. I will admit it. I was wrong about Jimmy Butler. The Warriors are 11-1 since Jimmy Butler joined the team. Now, the only loss was like a Kyrie Irving 40-point game led win against the Warriors. I think it was in Dallas. I will say Steph Curry is playing at Steph Curry levels, but Jimmy Butler really, I think, has he is able to stabilize this offense when Curry comes out. Jimmy goes in, he's able to set it up, he's able to get people in the right positions that they need to be, he's able to just overall have it set up in a way that is much more understandable for the players to understand, and it isn't just great, we need to know what to do here, or we need to figure it out, because Steph isn't on the floor. It's no, you have this other guy who is going to who's going to trust you and bring in this quality offense, this quality set building, with also substantial veteran leadership, with substantial defense and everything like that. And so I feel like a lot of people, me included, look at trades and say, all right, what scoring does that person bring? Because I feel like that, it's the name of the game. It's if you score more than your opponent, you're going to win, which is great. But it is so much more than that. It is really his defense that he brings, his maturity, his leadership, his overall talent in certain pools. That's what he's bringing to this team. He's bringing a maturity and veteran leadership to this team. And they're looking great for it. They're 6th in the West. Right now they would play the Lakers, which, let's be real, I think that'd be an incredible series. Luka versus Steph and LeBron versus Jimmy. Just overall very good series. For the Knicks in this one, OG Anunoby, 29 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Jalen Brunson, 25 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. Mikal Bridges, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson is back, but this game is a perfect example of what really scares me with the New York Knicks. Josh Hart, 2 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists in 33 minutes, 1 of 8 shooting. Campaign, 5 points, 33% shooting. Precious Achiuwa, 40% shooting, 8 points. Deuce McBride, 6 points, 28% shooting. So they were without Cat in this one. He didn't play. If he plays, they win. Sure. But here's the thing. He didn't play, and they lose. This is the perfect example of the Knicks need all 5 of their main guys on the court in order to win. I'm going to talk about the loss that they had against the Lakers later. I think it might be. It's one of the last matchups I cover. It's in a couple. It's in 3 matchups from now. I'm going to talk about. But it's the lack of shoot. 8 of 13 from 3 isn't good at all. Getting out rebounded, having more turnovers than them, not nearly as many assists. Sure, more minor differential stuff, but it's and then it's also just the defense of the Warriors was better. There were just too many things that didn't go the Knicks' way for me to confidently say, it was just not a great game for them. It was no, this is a concerning game for them. The Warriors are relying, truly are relying off of 2 pieces right now, and whatever support they can get from the rest, they're going to take. You have 5 guys. Well, in this game you had 4, but you had 4 guys who should consistently be able to get you 20. Sure, Josh Hart did not have the best shooting night. If he does, then they might win this game or whatever it may be. But like, it's just the Knicks, with every performance that I watch from them, I get like more and more concerned of the quality of team that we are seeing from them. I'll go more in depth on that in a little bit, but the Warriors are playing at levels that I wouldn't have guessed, in all honesty. They're playing really well. Steph Curry just became the 26th player in NBA history at 25,000 points last night in their game against the Pistons. He's 7 threes away from 4,000, which is ridiculous. LeBron James hit 50K points this week. That's cool. Like, it sucks that we are seeing the end of some of like these truly great players. But the fact that we got to live them is more important. But no, the Warriors are finding their stride. If they're able to really keep this up, then I think they're going to be a really big, I wouldn't say they're a major threat in the West, but I do think that they would give a really tough matchup to a team. Like, so say if the Warriors continue to catch their stride, right? They are currently 3.5 back on 4th place in the West. Right now, I'm taking the Warriors over the Grizzlies. I'm taking them over the Rockets. And I'm taking them over everybody else below them. Yeah, no, it's gonna be pretty easily. Like, the Warriors are gonna, I think, end up being like a top 4 or 5 seed. I don't think they're gonna be playing the Lakers. I think they'll play probably the Thunder in the second round, most likely. But I don't know. But Warriors come out to play. They're finding their rhythm for sure. From the beautiful day of March 5th, shout out my dad, birthday boy, Big Mike, turned 40 years old. Pretty crazy. Shout out my dad. But on that beautiful day, a beautiful moment of Celtics history occurred. The Boston Celtics faced the Portland Trailblazers 128-118 in Boston, their third game of their home stretch. I was not able to watch the game as I was working my last game with Boston College before I actually start my new job on Tuesday. So that's pretty cool. But a historic performance for a Boston Celtics legend, or Boston Celtics duo. Peyton Pritchard, 43 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Derek White, 41 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. They were the first ever duo in Celtics history to both score 40 points in a single game together. They also combined for 1 assist and 19 threes, which is the most a single pairing of teammates has ever scored in a single game. 19 threes. Combined for 84 points, which just broke the Celtics record for most points scored in by a duo in a single game. It was originally set that Friday before by Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the Cavs game, where Jaylen scored damn near 38 or something, and JT had 46. So I don't know, dude, they're pretty good. Or no, JT was at 46, and then JB was at 37. Yeah, because they combined for 83, and then the new record is 84 with these two chumps. Jaylen Brown provided a little bit of offense. Kidding. He provided offense, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. The Celtics are clicking. I don't know what you want me to tell you. The Celtics are clicking. They're finding their rhythm. They're finding their motion. They're finding their shot. Drew Holiday is back. I'll talk about him in a little bit. Kristaps isn't back yet. Hopefully he isn't dead. But the Blazers did not make it easy. The Blazers are playing really good basketball. I know people are going to see this and say, Connor, but the Blazers are 12th in the West. Yeah, they're 4 games out of a play-in spot. They're a game and a half back on the Suns. They're up on the Spurs and the Pelicans, who I don't think anybody had them being better than either of those teams. I don't know what... the Blazers have very solid pieces. Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Toumani Camara, Denny Avdia. I'm so sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Bless me. Scoot Henderson. They have a bunch of good players. It's just, will they have the makeup to truly put all of them together is the question. Now, will they? I don't know. I'd like them to. I think Portland is a good city. I think it's important to have basketball there. I think it's a good winning town, or not winning town, but a town of culture. It's Portland. It's Portland, Oregon. You got to stay weird out there in the Midwest, or in the Pacific Northwest, sorry. But I just think the Blazers stayed in this game. It was just if Peyton Pritchard or Derek White doesn't have this bonkers performance, I think we're talking about the Blazers winning this. But yeah, shout out the Blazers. Go Seas. Next matchup from the 6th of March. The Boston Celtics defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 123 to 105. I wasn't really worried about this game. 76ers didn't have really anybody. Neither did the Celtics. No Jaylen Brown, no Kristaps, no Drew, whatever. For the Sixers, no Maxey, no Embiid because he's out for the rest of the season. PG. Who else? Didn't have Kyle Lowry, didn't have Eric Gordon, maybe another player I can't remember. But Jayson Tatum led the way, 35 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. Peyton Pritchard, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. And Bayless Shireman, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Shout out to Creighton boy. Kelly Oubre Jr., 27 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. Lonnie Walker, 17 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. And Justin Edwards, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I'm not worried about the 7. But no, I'm not saying I'm not worried as like, oh, they'll be fine. It's just like, I don't think they're good anymore. I do think that they should really change up their dynamic of the team. I think that they should go from the main focus of their team should be Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain and whoever they draft this year. For reference, the Philadelphia 76ers don't have their pick. OKC currently does. So Philly needs to slide a little bit more in order to not let OKC get that pick. They're projected to take Con Knuppel, who isn't great. Wow, that's crazy. They play a back-to-back against Denver in OKC, and then they go 3 straight, and then they go to Boston the next day. That's pretty crazy. Anyway, but no, back-to-back Denver and then going to Boston, that's tough. That's really tough. But no, shout out the Thunder, whatever. And in this game, Bayless Shireman, won the Tommy Award for the game, showed a great hustle, knocked down big shots. Like, this is a perfect game. And I think we're going to get to some games in like April when the Celtics are like wrapped up their spot. They're just going to give like a couple games here or there to like maybe try out some stuff. I don't know. But like you'll see like more Jordan Walsh minutes. You'll see like a Pritchard ran game. You'll see a like more Shireman, more Walsh, more Kada, more Miles Norris. Shout out Miles Norris, new Celtics player. But it's like when you have a performance like this on national television from Bayless Shireman with 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, some hustle, some really good defensive plays. Like, that's moving for me for sure. I know the Celtics haven't had the best luck in terms of the draft over, I'd say, like the last like 2 or 3 years. Like I think Walsh and Shireman are good. It's just like I'd like them to develop maybe a little bit quicker, and I think that's maybe what the summer will be. But in terms of like what they can provide, Jordan Walsh brings really good defense and like really good athleticism. And when Shireman's shot is going, he provides really solid shooting. So Sixers, I don't care. You're Philly. I don't like you. But the other game from that night, and the one that I really want to talk about, is the Lakers versus the Knicks. The Lakers win this one 113 to 109. It did go into overtime. Luka Doncic led the way for the Lakers with 32 points, 7 rebounds, 12 assists, 4 steals. LeBron James, 31 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. And Jackson Hayes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. The Lakers, like when the Lakers are on, they're on. And when they play none of the top 3 or 4 teams, it shows they're a very good team. But the main reason why I'm talking about this game is the Knicks. I have one more game with the Lakers, and then I'll talk about them more in that and what I really think of them. But the Knicks, you had the starting lineup, you had the full 5, you had Mitchell Robinson, you had all the bench players you needed, whatever. You lose. Why? Because Jalen Brunson's your offense. It's as simple as that. I was talking to my good friend Jonah. Jonah, you got to be on the pod soon. If they run their offense through Cat, I think it might make things a little bit more flexible, but I don't think it will be as efficient almost. Oh my God, Trace Thompson just hit another home run. That's his 6th in spring training. Texting my good friend Andy. Sorry about that. Just had to. Game is back on, by the way. The Thunder are up 8, 72 to 64. With the Knicks, it's just like Jalen Brunson, 39 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists. That's great. OG Anunoby, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. And then Josh Hart, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals. That's really good. Like, sure, I think the Knicks can win a good amount of games. It is the tough part of Cat didn't have the best shooting night. Mikal Bridges didn't really provide a lot anyway. And unfortunately, Jalen Brunson goes down at like the beginning of overtime or at the end of the fourth, or I think it was in like maybe 2 minutes left in overtime. And then it was like the Lakers game to lose at that point. The Knicks had no offense or no fluidity on offense other than Jalen Brunson. And sure, I think a lot of that just comes from the fact that Jalen Brunson is a much better shot creator than I'd say really anybody else in that team. His dribble package, his ability to get to his spot, his size, his quickness, he understands like what needs to be done for certain things. Where I'd say Bridges, Anunoby, and Hart, they're much more like, if you don't have anything, dish it to us and we can figure it out sort of guys. I do think that they need to involve Cat more in their offense, get some more post work going, get some mid post, high post, just some overall like one-on-one isolation action, maybe just some spot up threes. I don't know. But they need to get him more involved because they won't have Jalen Brunson for about the next 2 weeks now because of his sprained ankle that he got in overtime. And I think just with that comes some stuff where I really have to sneeze, but I can't tell if I really have to or not. So hold on. Bless me. Anyway, sorry, never mind. But overall, I just think with like the Knicks, if they really want to be like a top tier team, they can't have 3 of the same player nearby. You can't like Hart, Anunoby, and Bridges, in my opinion, are very similar. Not like the best 3-point shooter, but can get to the rim really easily, very good defensively, everything like that. You really do go out there with like 2 very solid offensive pieces in Cat and oh my lord, great effect. Cat and Brunson. Jeez, that took way too long to think. I think with those guys, you're really able to like set yourself up for very good offensive success because of the gravity that those 2 guys draw. But in terms of the overall like production field, like the Knicks are good. It's just I think that there are too many similarities within their overall scheme that just doesn't really work. 2 more games to talk about and then we'll get out of here. Probably the greatest, or arguably the greatest offensive performance I've seen in my lifetime happened on Friday night. The Denver Nuggets defeated the Phoenix Suns 149 to 141. Suns, really good performance from Devin Booker, 34 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. Kevin Durant with a clutch shot to send it to overtime. 29 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and Mason Plumlee, 18 points, 11 rebounds. Aaron Gordon, 27 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, pretty good. Christian Brown, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. They had 7 of, I think it was, let me just double check this. 7 out of the 8 players that played. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, out of the 8 players that played for the Nuggets, 7 of them ended in double figures, with Zeke Naji being the only one, and he had 6. But who was the player of the night? It was Nikola Jokic, pretty easily. 31 points, 22 rebounds, or 31 points, 21 rebounds, 22 assists, with 3 steals. Now tell me how that's fair. Because it isn't. He's the first player in NBA history to have a 30-20-20 game. The only person that's ever come close is Russell Westbrook, who got a 20-20 game in honor of Nipsey. Shout out Nipsey. I've never seen a game have so much impact on odds in my life. SGA was like minus like 700 to win MVP. After the game, he went like to minus like 200. It was crazy. I think Jokic is the MVP. And the reason being, if you were to take off SGA from the Thunder are still a very good team. If you were to take off Jokic from the Nuggets, then I don't know if they're nearly as good of the same team. I know there's the aspect that people have, but he doesn't play defense. He does. It's just he's not very good. He's not like he's not Rudy Gobert on defense. SGA is a much better defender. You're aware. But I think he is averaging a triple-double, and it is just, I understand the Thunder having a career season and like in a season that really hasn't ever happened. But there's nobody better at playing basketball than Nikola Jokic. He makes it so easy. I understand the touches. I understand the shot attempts. Whatever it may be, I know. And I don't care. That guy's pretty good. Really good. So that's just me, but shout out Jokic. No, it's just he is doing things that we haven't ever seen before. And the best way I can put it is this: whoever loses this MVP is going to be like the Heisman for this year. Whoever loses is going to be the biggest arguably the biggest should have winner in NBA history. Because if you look at this, okay, ready? If you were to take Nikola Jokic versus SGA, right? I am purely looking at the real app, okay? I'm not looking at SGA wins in points. He wins in steals, blocks, makes some free throw percentages, and plus minus by 3, which is really good. But Nikola Jokic is third in the league in points at 28.9. He's second in the league in assists and 10.6, and he's third in the league in rebounds at 12.9. He's 10th in the league in steals with 1.8. He's actually tied with SGA. He plays more minutes, shoots a better field goal percentage, shoots better from 3, doesn't take nearly as many as Shea, but has the better true shooting percentage and has the best real performance rating per game. Now, I don't really care who you have as the best player in the world. Or best player in the world is Jokic. I don't really care who you have in terms of the MVP. If you have anybody else other than these two, respectfully stop talking about basketball. It's okay. I love Jayson Tatum. He ain't winning the MVP this year. I'm aware. But he's having an MVP caliber season. Thank you. It's between those two guys. Just let them be. Okay. Another score update. The Thunder up 9. Jokic has 15 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks on 37% shooting. And SGA has 25 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks on 40% shooting. So, yeah. Anyway, SGA is 27 now. Final game from the week, and the one I'm so excited to talk about. The Boston Celtics defeated the Los Angeles Lakers 111-101. Jayson Tatum, 40 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Jaylen Brown, 31 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, or 31 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. And now Horford, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum are 4th all-time in most games by, with most 30-point games by a duo since the merger. They're 4th all-time. They have 29. They need to third place, tied for second and third is Kobe Bryant and Shaq, and Alex English and Kiki Vandeweghe at 33, and then Kevin Durant and Russ have 34. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown will pass that, no problem. The other fact that I saw, and I wanted to, what was it? Al Horford defensively. He played a huge part in the matchup between, I'm trying to find it. I don't know if I can find it. Or no, I think I took a pic. I think I might have posted it already. I know okay. Tim Bontemps shouted out Matt Williams at Stats Williams on X. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Rivers, the top 3 perimeter scorers for the Lakers and among the best in the league, isolated Al Horford 23 times on Saturday per second spectrum tracking data. That's the second most isolations against any player in a single game since player tracking began in the 2013-2014 season. So the second most times a player has been isolated on defense in the last 11, 12 years of the NBA. The result, Al Horford allowed 0.39 points per direct play per second spectrum, the second best efficiency by any player to defend at least 15 isolations in a game in the past 12 seasons. Overall, the Lakers shot 7 of 23 against Horford, with Doncic and James combining to go 3 of 14. That is winning basketball. That is what we mean by, hey, defense, the importance of defense. Okay, huge third quarter for the Celtics. I mean, it seemed like that they just didn't really find their offensive flow in the first and the fourth quarter, but in the second and the third, they found it and they were really able to get a rhythm going. Luka and LeBron both looked hurt. I mean, LeBron was hurt. He ended up, I think, straining or pulling his groin and is going to be out for probably about a week or 2. I don't think Luka's going to play his next game against the Nets, but still, I mean, the Celtics showed like, hey, there's levels to this shit. Okay. The Lakers had a better team to beat the Celtics than they do now. Jaylen Brown woke up and said, I'm going to make sure Luka is in hell again, like he was all of June. And he was. Like, it just was like the easiest of pickpockets for Jaylen Brown, and which led to transition, which led to Celtics did a really good job offensive rebounding, which led to more threes. Defensively, they weren't perfect, but their rotations were really good. They were very good at stopping Luka in the paint and collapsing on him and forcing either bad shots or misdirect passes or whatever it may be. But this as a finals would do billions of dollars. Like, I think the NBA needs this with either this year or next year. I don't think it will happen this year just because of the Thunder. But I mean, all in all, it's just a really good matchup. Like, somebody put it a very good way. I can't remember who exactly, but it was on Twitter, and somebody went like, seeing LeBron play now, like, obviously that's good, like, yada yada yada. How will he be at 40 after his, like, in his third or fourth playoff series? That I don't know, but I don't know if there's any, like, there are very few players who I'm taking against LeBron James when he is 4 wins away from another title. I don't know who I'm really taking off the top of my head, like maybe the Celtics team, but I think LeBron just has like this LeBron switch where it's like the moment he realizes he's an inch away, he is like, all right, I know what I need to do, kind of thing. So anyway, but yeah, that is the end of today's episode. I hope you all had a great time listening. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know if you like the 1 time a week or if you think I should go back to 2 times a week. I don't know. You let me know. Today's player is Quincy Acey. Shout out Prison Ball. Shout out the Brooklyn Nets. Shout out the Knicks. And shout out when he got a technical for screaming at Daniel Tice. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy this episode. I will see you all next Sunday for the next episode. I will even give you a recap of what work is like. Boom. See you all later. Peace out.